the reality of being a mother for the first time with my oldest daughter, but being a single mother and the challenges of that. I mean, it was challenging at the time. It was difficult at the time, but it was something that I was proud of doing. I mean, I had support. I had my mother and father to support me and stuff, and and that helped. But just the fact that the reality of having to finally to have a child and not expecting it, but yet the reality of saying that this is going to be mine and belong to me, and I have a job to do now. I have to not worry about just myself anymore. I have to worry about her and that she turns out okay. Um, that would probably be it.
Mm. All right. Well, thank you for your time.
Well, thank you.
All right. Hello.
Okay. Hello.
Hi. All right. First question: what is the most significant thing you've learned so far in your life?
The most significant thing
Mhm.
is to just treat everybody, no matter where they've come from, where they, what they do, um, the same. Not indifferently. Don't be judgmental of people.
Do you have any specific stories for this?
Lots of stories. There's one story is just where I know that there's a lot of homeless people that hang around like that with Pick and Save and stuff, and sometimes they come in and they sit on this bench that's right inside the door, the doorway. And there's this one gentleman that comes all the time, and he's not bothersome. He doesn't beg. He just waits for people to see if they'll give him a few bucks so he can get a sandwich or whatever. And one day I came in and I've never given him anything before. I've seen him sleeping on those little automated carts they have in the lobbies, for people to use.
Mm-hmm.
One time I saw him sitting in there and somebody had put like a $10 bill, just left it on his lap, because he was asleep.
Mm-hmm.
So one day I came in and I saw him sitting on, and I always see him like picking up cigarette butts and stuff like that outside the store. So even though sometimes I see people standing on the corners with those signs and stuff, it's just like, there's got to be plenty of jobs out there, even if they're menial jobs, and sometimes you just want to say, is there some place I can take you or to apply for a job? But this one gentleman, and he's probably going to be, he's been homeless for a while, and I've seen him quite a bit. It was just one day, it just motivated me to when I walked in the store, he was sitting on the bench and just quietly sitting there and probably resting from walking wherever he's come from. And Nicole was just getting off of work, and I said, Nicole, give him this money so that he can get himself something to eat. But I couldn't bring myself to do it myself. Like, I didn't want him to feel like I was, and probably I wouldn't. It was just my own personal inward feelings that if I say here's $10, he's gonna maybe lash out on me and say, no, thank you, I don't want your money, or don't give me charity or something like that. I thought that's what reaction he would give me. Mm-hmm. And Nicole went to go give him the money and said, here, this is for my mom. She wants to give you something to eat and drink. And all he asked her to do was sit down and talk to him for a while. And when she came back and told me, she said, no, I really have to leave, and I wouldn't any other time. And then it made me feel like, even though I was trying to do something for him and not being judgmental, I was, because of his reaction. I thought his reaction would be more aggressive than it was, and all he did was ask her to sit down and talk to him for a while, And it opened my eyes to the fact that even though I thought I wasn't a judgmental person, I kind of was, because I was judging the way that if I gave him the money, that he would lash out at me and think that I was better than him. So that's kind of like a recent story that I can remember. But.
All right. Well, what is something that you regret in your life that is worth talking about?
I regret not giving somebody a second chance. It's a little emotional. It was many years ago, and I was very young, and it actually was Elena's father that I was in a relationship with at the time, and didn't really know about anything. Didn't know that he was going to do this in the beginning of the relationship, but in the end, he turned out to be where he was using drugs, and in the beginning he wasn't, and he was very wonderful person, a very heartfelt person, a very generous person. My folks all loved him. He was well liked by all our family members, all my family members, and then he started using drugs, and he ended up invading things of mine, stealing things of mine, and putting me in a position where I was feeling angry because he did that to me, and I trusted him with all my heart. And he ended up going into a program to try to get well. And when he got out, I tried to get him back on his feet again and saying, I'm not going to be able to live with you. I want you to get back on your feet. At the same time this was all happening, my grandmother, who I was very close to, she was dying of cancer. So I was trying to deal with him and her at the same time. I said, I have to go home and live with my parents for a while. He had literally used all my money in my bank account. I had like over $5,000 from buying drugs. He got my PIN number and I don't know what made me check my account that day, but I did, and there was like $70 left out of $5,000. So I knew it was him. It was a heroin habit. So he got out of the hospital, and that was the day I discovered it. The day he got out of the hospital, and I said, I can't do this now. I can't trust you. You did this. Why didn't you tell me? He was going to. So we didn't really go our separate ways, but he had to find his own place, and I moved home with my parents. And even though I know that he was really trying very hard, and learned later on that he was actually trying, because he knew my mother and my father, and just from being from family functions and he was actually really trying to get well and be well, because at the same time, I found out that I was pregnant with Elena, and with my daughter, and he came back and really wanted to start a life together, and I couldn't give him that chance. And he ended up saying, well, I can't, he ended up begging my folks, for me to change my mind, and they said, she's made up her mind, that we can't tell her what to do. And he ended up leaving Milwaukee because he said he couldn't be in the same city if we couldn't be together. So I ended up leaving and wrote a lot of letters to me, and someday we'll be together. You watch, I'm going to win your heart back. And at the same time, I was kind of giving him the impression that someday, maybe we'll be together. In the back of my mind, I said, I'm never leaving here. I'm never going to leave here. My family's here. Mm-hmm. And years down the line, when I decided that maybe I wanted to contact him again, I just found out that he died. He died at a very young age. And it was like regret that it was just not giving him a second chance, and forgiveness. Mm-hmm. And now he's gone, and he's been gone for many years. I mean, we broke up when he was like, when I was like 20, in our mid-20s. He was like 28. He was older than me. And come to find out that he died not shortly after. He was like 34. Probably from shutdown of body, like from his habit, or maybe a disease he got from his habit, or something like that. But it was regret that I didn't give him a second chance, and we didn't mend that part of our life. you know, and then Elena could have known her father, and I feel bad that I robbed her of that too. That's another regret. So,
Well, how do you think others perceive you as a person?
motherly and nurturing, caring. I always want to see the good side of everybody. I always want to make sure everybody's taken care of and making the right decisions, and pretty much like that. I want people to think that they can trust me. They think that I'm a kind person.
Would you say like easygoing, lenient?
Yeah, I'm pretty easygoing. Lenient. Yeah, I'm lenient. I could be more. I could be better than I am, but I always like my people that I come in contact with, people that I love to be comfortable. You know, in every way. So. It's true, but at the same time, if they ever want to repent for what they've done, and you're not giving them a chance, you know, and you think you're never going to give them a chance because of that trust issue, you know.
Yeah. So, last question. Okay. What can or makes you truly content or happy?
Trying to be quiet. Trying to be just a good caregiver, you know, to everybody that I love. To be respectful to everybody's feelings, you know. But I always, but I want that in return too. I don't get that from everybody. A lot of times when I feel that I need to have it from, you know, there's certain people that give it to me all the time, and that realize, you know, that, you know, how much I have on my plate sometimes, and what I have to deal with day to day, and with working and trying to keep this household and trying to keep everybody in a straight line. And I'm just thinking that I just forgot the question.
What makes you happy?
Oh yeah, it's just making sure everybody else is happy and content and well cared for and fed and have what they need and want. So that's pretty much it.
Is there any like situations when you've like had experiences like you would want to make someone happy?
Oh yeah, I'm going through something right now. You know, with Nicole. You know, it just seems like these weeks where she's been, you know, trying to get her, with these weeks when she, you know, fell off and reverted back to her old ways, it's just like, it was just such a struggle to make her understand that all I wanted to do was help and encourage. And no matter what, she kept telling me, but you're not, right now, the way that I'm going, Mom, I don't care about what everybody else is feeling. I don't care what you want to do for me. Nothing that you say or do right now is sinking in because I'm on a whole different mode. I'm on a whole different level. But I just kept trying, even though I was disappointed every time because she would keep telling me the same thing. I just kept trying, and I'm still trying to do it. And she still knocks me down, but you know, I'm not going to let it stop. You know, I'm not going to stop what I'm doing. You know, if I'm doing it for her, I'm not trying to think about what it's doing to me. I'm trying to do it for her at this point. So, at some point, it'll start being worthwhile.